we had somebody actually set up a bar in the walk-in. And when I tell you they set up a bar, okay? So
you walk in to get cheese, or someone just drying a glass.
Two of my coworkers were in there, okay, and 4 or 5 girls.
It's a club,
okay,
club walk-in.
and so I'm like, oh, how you doing? It's just
great.
So I look over, okay, and there's literally like a tray of shots, okay. There's a bottle of Jaeger, okay, because you're in the walk-in. Because it's in the walk-in, you know. It makes sense.
Hey, can't warm Jaeger.
You know, every people are sitting down on cases of beer, kegs of beer, and stuff like that. And I was like,
Sean's pull up a seat.
Oh, come on in. Let's do some shots. You done your shift yet?
YUNKJunk!
What's up, Philadelphia, and welcome to a very special edition of the Supper Club podcast with myself, Lou Novak, and Sean Thump McGranahan.
Dun-dun-dun. Copyright,
but not if you sing it out loud with your voice instead of using the production.
It's my speech impediment. So we're good.
Great. So we'll be canceled. Today we are doing the Philly draft. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this today. I think we've covered a few topics over the episodes, and I think one of the things that we've kind of shown and expressed to everybody is we love Philly.
Absolutely.
I love Philly. You know, I love everything about Philly.
Philly versus everyone.
From southwest to far northeast, everything in between. I love Philly, and I think a lot of times, especially when we're talking to people from like out of town, or like when we're traveling somewhere, they're like, "Oh, you're from Philly. You guys are batteries of Santa Claus," or and they go to something like random like that. But that's not true Philly. And I think we want to talk about like what's true Philly. And I think that's one of the goals that we want to address today, and see who actually knows true Philly better, myself or Louis Novak.
Well, we're gonna know who's gonna have a better Philly team, because what we're gonna be doing today is drafting. We're gonna have 5 rounds, and we're gonna be drafting anything that we would consider Philly for our team. So we're gonna do that throughout the course of the show, and then we're gonna rely on the comments and the feedback from the viewers to kind of let us know exactly who we think won the draft. I can tell you this: we know the Eagles won the draft.
Oh, absolutely! Are you kidding me?
Holy God! Man.
You know what I love? I love the fact that like everybody's now acknowledging, not that they haven't acknowledged, Howie Roseman's a great executive.
Yeah, acknowledge
Howie. But like this idea that like, how did he pull it off again?
Can't keep getting away with this.
And it's an awesome thing. I mean, what was our biggest downfall last year on defense was the secondary. Let's get 2 of the top secondary guys coming out. I mean, listen, both of them. Okay, I think I've read up on both of them, and obviously I didn't know a lot about both of them before hearing about them, but both of them are literally, they're Philly already. I mean, a guy like DeJean, is it DeJean or is it DeJohn?
Sure.
Everybody, I've been hearing people say DeJean, but to me it looks like DeJohn or something like that. I'm not sure, but whatever. Kid's a beast. Kid plays everywhere. I mean, if that's not Philly, the way I'm reading off of him is like I know this is a big stretch, but like a Troy Polamalu type that just is like all over the field. Maybe I'm putting too much on, but like the way that they're talking about this guy is that like they put him in any one of these positions, he's going to do well. Mitchell, I think, is going to be phenomenal. He's got that. I think the defense is going to take this kid under the wing and be like, "You're the man from day one." And I think he's going to.
That's one thing that Nick's good at too, is getting the morale and kind of like getting people to like buy into themselves before they buy into him. Like, you are the man. Go be who you are.
And you know what? From meeting him and like dealing with him, it's natural from like it's not phony at all.
It's not fabricated at all.
Like his goal is to bring up everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You got these coaches out there that are more X's and O's. That's great. You got these coaches out there that are about schemes and are about this guy. He just wants to be positive. And he just wants to push that team up.
Players coach is kind of like, you hear it said a lot, but players coach.
He's a
man.
players coach. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, there was a lot going on this past week. You know, we had the draft going on, and that was a cool thing for everybody to watch. Now we get into this week, and you know, it's hot. It's summer. It's like 90 degrees today.
Yeah, we could focus. So we focused on the draft with football, and now it's like summer weather, so we could focus on baseball, and we don't have to think about the Sixers at all right now.
I mean,
yeah. At some point, Dylan's going to pump cricket noises into this when he does the production because yikes, man. I'd rather hear crickets than hear Nixon 5 chant it in our own fucking place of business. So that's rough. That's embarrassing.
Tell you what,
that's an indictment on the Sixers. That's not okay.
And then to come out afterwards and say you were disappointed in the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd's disappointed in you, bro.
Listen.
We're Philly.
These guys are pros.
We hold people accountable as fans here.
These guys are pros, okay?
Yeah.
And I think Embiid is a phenomenal talent, okay? I think Maxey is a phenomenal talent, okay? I think Tobias Harris is a hard worker, okay? They have pieces. They're not a team.
No.
That's the problem. They're not a team. And not for nothing, you know, I'll put right now where I stand today, I'll put Embiid up there with LeBron as Flop Fest, you know, 2024.
Ooh, LeBron would it's just basketball,
but not even that.
That's another one too. Like
not even that, but like it's just basketball. Yeah, but like crying about every little thing that happens. Like, listen, I grew up loving the NBA. I remember every year there used to be a book that came out and it was called I forget. But it was basically like an almanac, a new almanac that got put out every year by the NBA, and it had every stat from the beginning on, like from 1947 when the NBA was founded on. Every team, every stat, every player was listed. I used to study it. I used to study it like people study, you know, fantasy football things. That was like my reading homework was like going home, like I'm going to learn about the 62 Pistons today. What did Dave Bing was the first guy to ever score 2,000 points in a season. I still have that in my head just because it was like a thing. But like,
did you have friends growing up?
Yeah, actually, like both of them. But like, you know, I love
Chris,
the NBA.
Your brother and
my mom.
Gotcha.
But the NBA was my thing, you know, when I was like in that like wheelhouse of like 12 years old. I mean, Rick Mahorn and Charles Bucket. So I got the nickname, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was everything to me at that time. But those guys, they played it different. And again, the players these days are more athletic, which I can appreciate. Sure. But like I can't stand watching guys take like Anatemko taking like 6 steps, like he literally no dribble from half court on, and oh look, he dunked. That's great, but he walked.
Right.
Like I like the NBA is it's funny because it's more successful now than it probably ever has been in terms of revenue, but I think it's the worst product that's ever been.
But what you see with that, whether it be NBA or what they've done with things with hockey and now football as well, is like, yeah, they're always going to be more, you know, they're going to score. The more defense gets scaled back and the more you just don't call traveling, yeah, they're going to score a lot more points and people are going to be, hey, listen, baseball was never at its highest when everyone was juicing.
You're absolutely right.
Right? Like, dingers, man, all day. Like, yeah, I mean, you know.
I remember
they're drinking gallons of HGH in the dugout, but I mean, hey, home runs are cool.
Watching that Sammy Sosa, McGuire go back and forth, and Bonds and
McGuire. I was all about that.
Yeah.
We all were.
Jose Canseco breaking a bat on his back from hitting a home run, like literally, like his swing was so hard that as he was coming back around, it broke on his back. I think it might have been rigged, but you know, it's okay.
No, really, it's crazy.
But yeah, that's sports these days, you know, and you know, you kind of got to get behind what you want to get behind. There's people out there. I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan of the NBA. Will I go to a game or something like that? Yeah. I mean, you know, am I diehard for it? Absolutely not. Eagles.
Well,
a little bit different, you know.
We'll get into that later too.
And even the Phillies, you know, especially these days with the Phillies, with the Bryce Harper, I think was one of the best things that's happened to Philadelphia. I mean, you know, I'll go back to AI. It was probably the last time that a player came in and had that kind of impact. I mean, even Ryan Howard came out of nowhere and hit, you know, 47 home runs, I think, in his second or third year. You know, I think he had 58 the one year.
Yeah, it was up.
Even he didn't have the gravitas that Bryce Harper brings to the table, because I feel like Bryce Harper's the type of guy that, like, when that locker room door closes, he's the guy saying,
he's
step it up.
Yeah, he's not just a franchise player, but he's also the locker room leader as well. And that's you'll see that on successcul teams. The locker room leader, the one that's actually holding himself and the team accountable.
I think the Flyers still have a team, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Just to touch base real quick before we move to the next part is, when we talk about LeBron and, it's just basketball and, I'm going to talk to some of the younger people that watch right now. And, I grew up in the Jordan era and the Kobe era. And can we never again have the debate that LeBron is a GOAT? Like just to be so wishy-washy about being down 3 and losing, like Kobe would have committed war crimes to win a game. All right. And you never would have heard it's just basketball.
Right.
Jordan was the most, like ruthless person on the court, competitive person on the court. And, it was anything to win because it's not the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters.
So I've had this debate, before. It hasn't been in a barbershop because I'm follically challenged, but it's been in certain bar areas and stuff like that when people talk GOAT. All right. And I'm very definitive on my stance. And I get it. Everybody from different eras has their GOAT. You know, people today never saw, there's a lot of kids today that never saw Michael Jordan take over a game by himself. They didn't see Michael Jordan just like literally
the flu game.
I mean, literally, like LeBron will put out before the game that he has a flu because he wants it to be like, oh, he did that with the flu.
Right.
With Jordan, it was like, oh, by the way, he dropped 53 and he had the flu.
Fact, he'll tell you, yeah.
But I've had this stance for a number of years when it comes down to this because we knew we could see the trajectory that LeBron, he's all about stats and stuff like that. We knew he was eventually going to become the number one scorer. We knew he was eventually going to be number of championships, which he does.
But he also team hopped.
But my best comparison when you talk about the GOAT conversation with LeBron James is he's one of the greatest.
Yeah, he's one of.
And I put him in the same boat as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had one of the most storied careers you could ever have. I mean, championships and undefeated seasons in UCLA in college. Goes to the NBA, championship. For years was the number one career leader in points because he played 22 seasons or something like that. I get it. He put up a lot of numbers. Great talent, great athlete. Was he ever really in the GOAT conversation? No, because even during his era, he had Bill Russell, who nowhere near the stats that Kareem put up, but Bill Russell won 10 championships, I think. Yeah. But Kareem, I think finished. I want to say he had 4. Maybe 5 total when he retired, which is, again, great number.
Phenomenal, right.
Almost 40,000 points. Phenomenal, okay? Was he the greatest player that ever lived? No, by far and away. Was he a great athlete? Was he?
Well, of course.
Was he 7'2" and moved around? Him and Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. I mean, they were moving around at 7-footers. Well, Bill Russell actually was only 6'9", I think. But they were moving around as 7-footers with this like grace and this athletic ability. They were some of the greatest athletes of their time. But again, there's a difference between being the greatest athlete, which I'll say it again and again. LeBron is one of the greatest athletes of all time. The guy in high school, he was gifted with just talent, but not the greatest.
Well, talent versus heart. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes out to be.
We know how that works.
Yeah. So. I think we just wrapped up, Philly sports talk now. So maybe on to some things that involve the actual bar restaurant scene, since that's kind of like our brand identity.
Yeah.
And we'll always kind of peel off and do some other things as well. What's new on the agenda as far as like our scene for you, Sean? Anything bar, restaurant, food, beverage related? Anything on your topic of discussions today?
I think. Number one, I think we have to get out a little bit more because there's a lot of new places that just opened up, and we need to start refining our list a little bit more because we've been busy recording Supper Club. We haven't actually had a Supper Club in a while. So
we also need to get a guest on here, food wise.
Yes.
So,
food wise, I mean,
We've done a lot of drinking on the show.
I'm not purposefully, not like I'm one of these like health nuts or anything like that. We all know I'm not, but I'm literally on like a 48-hour fast right now. I haven't had anything to eat because I've just had some stuff going on, and I literally have not eaten since, I don't know, I think it was around like 3:00 on Saturday.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever done this in my life before, and I feel okay. I've been having to stay a little bit more hydrated.
Is it bulimia or anorexia? Which one is that called?
Sure. No. It's neither, because I think both of them involve actually like consuming food at some point.
One of them is like
I just sometimes you get that little like heartburn and stuff like that, and guys like me who have had the 7-inch scar club, as we like to call it. Sometimes heartburn it bothers you a little bit. So food wise, I would like to get a food person on here
just to get something inside you.
I really want to get something inside me bad.
Segueing from that, hey, how about we go to first round of the Philly draft today?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so Sean, we pre-established before the show started. You've had some good ideas. I have had some good ones. This one was mine as far as a draft. So, being as I came up with,
you've had better ideas. I'll freely say that.
We'll see how this goes.
No, in general, you've had better ideas. Okay. Like I'm not saying that.
I was about to give you.
I'm saying
the courtesy of going first, since it was my segment.
Away team.
So why don't you go? Yeah, away team. So you can have first overall pick of the first round of the Philly draft.
The best team selects Rocky.
Rocky. Okay. Respectable.
All things Rocky. Anybody who hears Philadelphia relates to the Rocky story, the underdog story, the come from behind story, the guy on the street story. When we're sitting there, like in a bar, in a restaurant, talking about hey, different attitudes of things that like really, really accentuate what Philly is. I think Rocky in the late 70s, he brought that home. I mean, he sold it. He sold it, and now it's an institution, obviously, and now it's even in the second generation with the Creed movies. Even though they've gotten away from Philadelphia, it still has that feeling
of that
of
universe.
Yeah, but it still has that feeling of if there's one thing that and I know this draft isn't what represents Philly, but it's just like anything Philly. If there's one thing I feel represents Philly in a great way, it's Rocky.
You ever run the Rocky steps?
I've walked it. I've driven past. I've driven past all the people who do the posing outside the statue at the bottom. Listen, I used to love back in the day when the Rocky statue was outside the Spectrum, and we would pose before Sixers playoff games. Again, R.I.P. Sixers playoff. But yeah, I think if you're gonna say Philadelphia, what's Philadelphia? I think one of the first things you have to go to is Rocky.
It's a respectable pick. I like it. In the same sort of sports world, I'm not going to go with Rocky. I'm going Birds. Just whether that be the Eagles, whether it just be go Birds. When I think of Philly, and listen, we've established we're a great sports town, but to me, it's ride or die with green. And to me, the Super Bowl when we won, when we finally achieved it, I would trade every World Series. I would trade every Stanley Cup. I would trade every NBA championship game for the Super Bowl. I would trade anything for just that feeling of us being validated as a Philadelphia Eagles team, So, the bronze statue of Dougie Fresh and Big Dick Nick out front of the link, it should be enshrined in anything Philadelphia. In 200 years from now, when the city and civilization is in ruins, I hope the next group of people come across that statue and be like, I think they were the gods. They made everything.
I think that's Big Dick Nick.
That's Big Dick Nick.
Right.
Like from that, from Kelsey and the Mummers outfit and everything about that. But just even to what they're doing now, still, to me, it's the Eagles. Yeah, that's my number one.
Again, I think both of our number ones. It was the given. Like our number ones right now was like one
of us is going to pick it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who got drafted same year as Peyton?
Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. So yours is going to go down as the Ryan Leaf, and I'm going to go down as the Peyton.
Definitely not.
No, we'll see where this goes. But I agree with that, because when you think about it, especially in the sports world. And I know we're not all talking just sports here. We don't want this to be a top five,
anyway,
top Philly sports things.
Oh no, I got some non-sports related things in my draft. What do we get to next round?
But I feel like when the sports world talks about Philadelphia, almost all the time, unless it's a report about a specific play or game or something like that, the first thing that comes to mind, people, is the Eagles, because they talk about the fans. They talk about, listen, we already know for years, for 20 years, 30 years, we've been the best visiting team in terms of travel.
Take shit over.
Exactly. I mean, shout out to the Green Legion. Quimby just does a phenomenal job. I mean, I remember, years ago hearing, he was trying to get tickets to the New Orleans game because New Orleans was, New Orleans is one of the funnest towns on earth.
Yeah,
and Eagles playing New Orleans. And I remember and this I might be speaking out of turn. And Quimby, I'm sorry if I am, but he had to buy out like a whole section for season tickets at New Orleans Saints in order for him to buy the tickets for the Eagles game. And he said, "Fuck it, yes, make it happen." Okay, and he said, of course, he put the tickets online probably and sold them, and maybe even did trips to Whaler Seas. I don't know, but that's what Philly does. Philly sits there and says, "You know what? I don't care what your stadium does. Your stadium can't sell out, no problem. We'll fill it because ours, you can't get a ticket."
When me and our mutual friend Quinn, shout out to Quinn over in Ohio.
I think he's in New York now. Upstate New York.
He travels a lot.
He's a held man.
I called him once in Kuwait.
He's a held man.
But we were in San Diego one time at Eagles Chargers game, and our section was packed so tight with green. Here comes two Chargers fans and they're blue and yellows, not like the Phillies uniforms. And there's the asshole chant for those guys in their own hometown,
from the Eagles fans.
Yeah. And the whole arena, all you hear is asshole. Right. And it's dude, I have season tickets. I live here. And I'm no, we weren't here to take part.
Especially San Diego. They were probably complaining, I'm sorry, can you get these guys? Those gentlemen just called me an asshole.
They're sensitive. Yeah. But we don't go to take part. We go to take over. And that's what we do.
That t-shirt?
It can be, and it can be found right here at the bottom of the screen that Dylan's going to put at the bottom. Link to merchandise.
Our merch page?
Yeah, we don't have.
It will be.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out.
Round two. Do you want to go one for one, or should I lead the second round?
Why don't you lead this one?
I'm going to go definitely off the beaten path on this one. I'm going to go with a word. All right. It's not John. All right. No. It's my favorite Philadelphian word, and that is dickhead.
That's right, dickhead.
I think dickhead has taken over Philly vernacular more than John. All right, fuck you talking about, dickhead. Stop being a dickhead. To me, that has really encompassed something that for us has just so naturally flowed from the Philadelphia vernacular, and from whether it be blue collar, whether it just be who we are as a city. Dickhead can almost become anything or anyone too. That dickhead's being a dickhead over there. Backdoor dickhead. Septa. So we might be setting a record for most times dickhead said on a podcast, but round two,
Dylan,
dickhead.
Can you research that for us? And
we set a counter,
absolutely.
At the bottom of the screen, a dickhead counter.
All right, thanks, dickhead. Yeah. So my turn. What is Philly? Okay, and again, I'm trying to avoid the normal tropes. Okay, you're not going to hear me say cheesesteak. Okay, that's not going to be in this because we all know that. Okay, but to kind of piggyback on yours a little bit, Kelly Green, Eagles. I mean, and it's not just Eagles. Phillies, when they play on St. Patrick's Day, they go to the
Clearwater. And spring training.
St. Patrick's Day. I get it. Everybody celebrates St. Patrick's Day. I think Kelly Green in the city of Philadelphia is something that on any given day you can wear, and it's not what are you wearing? Around St. Patrick's Day, you got
if you were wearing black and orange randomly in the middle of the summer, it'd be like, I mean, it's a couple months away from hockey season, bro. Right?
Or if you're in Charlotte and you're wearing teal and purple,
Charlotte,
but
Kelly Green just works for us.
Kelly Green, if I'm in a different city and I see somebody randomly wearing Kelly Green, I know chances are they're probably from Philly.
You could drop a Go Birds.
And you probably get it back.
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
I like it. I respect it. Kelly Green's a good second pick. We could do round 3. We can move on to some other things, and
let's switch it up a little bit. I want to talk about some things that are on my mind. When it comes to the restaurants and bar industry that we work in. It's a little segment we formerly called the Tales from the Walk-In. Okay, and I in my cobweb of mind, I remembered a great story from my Tales of the Walk. At least I think it's great. I mean, you probably tell me it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So it's one of the places I formerly worked at, years ago, and we had multiple walk-ins. It wasn't just like one walk-in. There was a couple walk-ins. Very high volume type of place.
Beer walk-in, yeah.
We had somebody actually set up a bar in the walk-in. And when I tell you they set up a bar, okay? So
you walk in to get cheese, or someone just drying a glass.
I'm telling you, it was like I want to say it was like it was a high volume day. Okay, I don't want to give away what kind of day it was because it might give away where it was, and I don't want to do that. But it was a very high volume day. It was one of those days where it's like, oh, when's this day going to be over? You're just humping the whole day, and you're going you're popping in a walk-in just to cool off because you're just so hot from running around the place. And so pop in the walk-in, and there's two of my coworkers were in there, okay, and 4 or 5 girls.
It's a club,
okay,
club walk-in.
and so I'm like, oh, how you doing? It's just
great.
So I look over, okay, and there's literally like a tray of shots, okay. There's a bottle of Jaeger, okay, because you're in the walk-in. Because it's in the walk-in, it makes sense.
Hey, can't warm Jaeger.
Every people are sitting down on cases of beer, kegs of beer, and stuff like that. And I was like,
Sean's pulp seat.
Come on in. Let's do some shots. You done your shift yet? No.
I'm getting paid for this, but actually.
I can be. And so we partook in but it just goes to it's reinforcing something we were talking about before, that like, in the service industry we deal with a lot.
Yeah,
we deal with a lot, and rightfully so. Part of our hospitality industry is we're supposed to be taking that edge off of anybody. Maybe you had a bad day, maybe your life left you for someone else. We gotta get the lyrics to the Cheers song, because the Cheers song, one of the lines in it is literally like, and your dad dresses like a woman or something like that. Somebody just reminded me about it, but it's like whatever's going on with your day, right. You never know what's happening. It's like that hospitality industry is like, hey, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna
drink this day away.
Not even that. I'm gonna take my mind away to something else. But as a result of that, and on our side of the bar, as we like to call it, we have to put up with a lot, whether it's unruly customer, whether it's somebody starting to fight, whether it's, somebody arguing, all this kind of stuff. There's all this stuff going on, and it's like, I just have to put up with it.
Yeah.
I just have to put up with it. Okay. And keep the smile on my face. And, we tell people all the time, like, you're on stage, so you have to do your best, but sometimes you just can't. And sometimes when that happens, you go to the walk-in.
And the fact that we're on stage is also when people like to be, and we have to be at our best. That's also when some people, unfortunately, like to be at their worst, because they feel this, unfortunately, it's not false, but this sense of security that there's no repercussions.
Right.
And this goes back, it's the same thing with keyboard warriors. And it goes back to people just don't get punched in the fucking face enough anymore.
Dickhead.
Right. Exactly. I'll tell you, since, we're talking about, correcting behavior from some people, I'll go into, my educational part of our podcast, and I'll talk about Bar 101 today. And today, class, we're going to discuss the etiquette of receiving things from your bartenders and your servers.
From bartenders to servers. I thought you were going in a different direction with that. Okay.
That's Supper Club After Dark.
Okay.
Yeah, that's soon to come. Shot at Sparrowway Productions.
Dylan, can you book that right now?
Yeah.
Just put that on the schedule.
Supper Club After Dark. So if you're at a bar or if you're at a table and you order a drink, right? And you're gonna pay with your cash or pay with your card, and your bartender's going to give you the drink, he's not going to throw it to you. He's not. It's not a relay race. He's not going to be like, like slip it into your hand like he's slipping cash with a handshake. He's going to put it on the bar in front of you, right? And then when he puts it down and he lets go, take a sip of your drink.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't want to do is, as I'm trying to hand you something, you try to grab it out of my hand. What's going to happen then? It's going to spill.
And then you're going to complain about it.
And then you're going to complain that it got spilled. Same regards, if you're sitting at a table and I'm your server, your server's coming over, and we're dropping, stuff of like, hot plates at your table. We want to make sure you get that food, and I'm going to put this nice bowl of whatever, nice dish we have in front of you. Let me put it down, okay? Because what's going to happen is when you try to grab it, I'm carrying 3 things. Something's going to become off balance, and it's going to fall. I'm going to make sure it falls on you before it falls on me. I'm not getting burned.
Smart.
Yeah,
Smart.
I mean, that's just self-preservation.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Oh my God, I can't believe
Why'd you touch it?
Can't believe you reached for something and it fell on you. And oh my God, it's the consequences of your actions coming back to haunt you. So, just, the servers are there to do a job, and just let them, let them serve your food to you and let them put it down. Let it put it on the table. Let the bartender put your drink down. Don't reach for things. Don't grab for things. The world would be a better place.
Well, let me ask you a question about that then. Do you stack plates when you're eating?
As a guest?
Yes.
I do.
So you're doing part of the server's job at that point. So
it's twofold.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Or are you a little hypocritical right now?
No, I'm definitely not hypocritical.
Okay.
No,
Explain.
It's twofold.
So on one stance, you're saying just let them do their job. On the other hand, you're saying
let them drop the food off is what I said.
Yeah,
No,
you also talked about the drinks.
I said just let them drop their stuff off.
Okay.
That's what I said.
So that's all they're allowed to do.
Oh, we do other things too.
But you also.
I stack plates so I have room.
I
like to spread out.
All right, well,
I think they call it like man spreading or something. I like to take over the area.
So you stack plates because you're selfish.
I'm selfish.
I stack plates out of courtesy for my fellow wait staff and want to make sure that I make it such a wonderful environment for them.
As someone that I currently work with likes to say, I have Leo energy. So yeah, I'm selfish and I like to take care of my own needs first.
Okay, I'm a Virgo. I'm a people pleaser.
Has that ever happened?
No.
No one's ever been pleased.
Not that I know of. I mean,
okay.
But I get happy from pleasing them. So I mean, that's I guess that's what the point is. So round 3.
Round 3 on the Philly draft.
Ding.
And Sean, you have first pick on round 3. What do you got for us?
Put me on the spot here a little bit.
I mean, we had prep time and notes and discussed it. So yeah, sure.
So mummers.
Mummers. Okay.
And here's the thing. Shout out to all my fellow mummers out there. I was a mummer at one point. 1990 through 92, we marched with Hog Island New Year's Association, which was one of the older ones, and we actually won for our division.
What?
No, Hog Island didn't win, but our individual float 3 straight years won for Trio Fancy Clown in the fancy division. Carousel of Clowns, I believe it was called. I have a plaque. I believe I still have a corduroy jacket in the Hog Island red and yellow colors.
Ooh, corduroy.
Corduroy.
Spared no expense.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this is a pretty big deal.
Huh.
But the mummers is something that from a time I was a child, my dad was really big on everything Philly. My dad, I mean, he always wanted me to find out what was Philly. He wanted me to experience Philly. Take me, we're going to go on a drive to a neighborhood and, hey, let's take a look around and see what's here. And so I've always just loved that kind of stuff. But and even though I'm not a person of many traditions myself, I believe in a lot of traditions like the Mummers Parade, which, it's a shame because first off, I don't think Mummers Parade gets the, it definitely doesn't get the financial backing that it should. Okay. Those people who are walking with the Mummers, they dedicate the entire year. I mean, you want to talk about like they're right now in May, probably, 3/4 of the way built with their props and they're already practicing their routines. I mean, it's and they don't get paid for it. And it's not like the prize money is like
compensates,
$100,000. No. It's bragging rights. And
That's a Philly thing too, though.
Yeah. So but the mummers is something that's just special. Obviously, nobody else has the mummers. And I know that there's a lot of people that maybe disagree with some stuff what the mummers do, and I think that there's people that participate that kind of ruin it for other people, with some derogatory comments or stuff that's made.
But look at the whole, not the.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But it's unfortunate because too often those little negatives outweigh this huge thing that people spend an entire year practicing, putting together. It's an amazing thing, and for the crowds that do enjoy it, I know for years and years and years I've always been a New Year's Day guy, and like New Year's Eve I've always counted as one of those rookie nights, where like Wednesday before Thanksgiving, you have to go out, bars are going to be busy, and the true professionals know that the better day is New Year's Day for a day load than New Year's Eve.
I would say Thanksgiving morning, actually.
Well, again, Thanksgiving morning,
after a turkey ball or something like that.
Exactly. But
I get that. I mean, hey man, listen, we were at WrestleMania when Seth Rollins came out with the mummers, which was, I mean, again, in Philly.
Did he? Okay.
Oh, I mean, you were there.
I was present.
Yeah. There were. Yeah.
So I'm going to say, yeah, that was awesome when he did that.
I hope we panned it on your wink right there. That's a good first pick for the third round draft. For me, I'm going to switch it. We're finally going to get some food in here. Also, listen, we could agree that cheesesteaks is just there, right? It's okay, right? Yeah. I'm going to go not just water ice, specific John's water ice.
John's water ice,
South Philly on Christian Street, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like to me, like if I'm building my Philly team, that's on my team. Like that's they're like the first thing. Is that the first we've done for food?
Yeah.
I think that's a really strong, deserved pick, man. There's something about their water ice where it's almost creamy. It's not, but somehow it is. It's just like you have to experience it.
So growing up in Northeast Philly, I grew up literally around the corner from the original Rita's.
Okay.
And in fact, the one that was like by my house, like the closest one to me, was like the third one, I think. And a friend of mine's family, shout out Brian Pearson, was his aunt was Rita. Okay.
Oh, really?
And so growing up, it was Rita's for me. Okay, but that's just because I never had experienced John's. And then I think when I was like 19 or 20, I met a woman, I think her name was Renata, who her family was related to John's, and was telling me all about it. Said, no, it's not Rita's. Rita's isn't the thing. You got to try John's at some point. And it really is different. It really is phenomenal. And the idea of water ice is a Philadelphia thing. And if you're going to go water ice, even though one might be significantly bigger than the other, doesn't mean it's better.
Doesn't mean it's better. Now go out of your way to go to John's.
Absolutely.
That's one of those you go out of your way for.
Absolutely.
Type of spots. So good third round there. As far as the fourth goes, we'll do that. And I think I'm first here. So on the opposite side of food, I'm going to go beer. All right. And I think personally it is probably the most well-known Philly beer, but I also think it is the best. And I'm going to go with Yards.
Absolutely.
Whether it be, the Philly Standard.
Shout out Tom Kehoe, 30 years of Yards brewing is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it doesn't happen by accident. You gotta be great. 30 years, you gotta be great. You can't just be good.
And I'll tell you this, and they have a great product line. Okay,
absolutely.
But here's where I make that differentiation, and I wholeheartedly agree with there is Tom Kehoe. Tom Kehoe, the owner of Yards Brewing. I mean, that guy, he's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. He's non-pretentious whatsoever. There's nothing about him like, he's just a great person. He's got a great company, a great product, and it's been fun to watch it kind of like grow from like I think it has its roots actually right here in YUNKJunk. The original brewery for Yards, I believe, was like over on Wild Street, I believe. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Actually close to where Palmer Distilling is.
Okay.
I think like they were like right in the same area, and they didn't operate at the same time, but like in that same area. to go from there to the facility he had down Delaware Avenue, which was like, wow, this is a big facility, you know. And I think that's Craft Hall now.
Right.
Okay, so if anybody's familiar with Craft Hall, that used to be Yards Brewing, and now
their spot on Spring Gardens. Is
Spring Garden. I mean,
huge,
and
it's always full.
In itself, it really is a tourist attraction because it is a Philadelphia beer.
It takes a,
you know, I can remember growing up, you know, when we were, drinking beers out behind Archbishop Bryan in the woods, and it was like, you know, Meisterbrow or Natty Light or, you know, whatever was the $7 case.
I don't care.
So crisp and clear.
Fuck me up with some Natty Light, but
Natty Light Ice, way underrated. But it was for us, like back in that day, like the Philadelphia thing was like, oh, you're going to drink Yingling. That's a Philadelphia beer. Yingling's not a Philadelphia beer. Yingling it's out
2 hours away.
Pottsville.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have their own great product, and I'm not going to argue with that.
But it's the same thing.
But that's the thing. It's like back in the day.
I couldn't say Trogs because they're not Philly.
Exactly, Harrisburg, I think. Somebody. But that was the thing. Like back in the day, it was like kind of one of those things where it was like I remember when I moved out to Pittsburgh, and they were like, oh, so you like your Yingling, huh? And it was like, yeah, I guess. Why? Well, it's from Philly, right?
Yeah.
No.
Let me alienate half of our sports fan base right now. The people that say Yingling for Philly are the people that root for Penn State instead of like Temple or an actual Philadelphia team.
No offense, Aaron Nola, but you know.
Yeah, I love Penn State, right? Awesome
Not
school.
Philadelphia.
It's not Philadelphia,
Yeah.
but there's people that because it's so widely recognized that, you know, there's people
also,
like, I'm a Penn State guy because I'm from Philly. I'm like, then root for Temple for Philly.
that's just as good as me saying like, oh, I'm a Notre Dame guy because I'm Irish.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Irish. I don't need to sit there and say, you know, I like that one school because they're Irish too.
And also the movie was all lies too. It never happened. But as far as, you know, following up on everything about Tom, like the product itself, you know, I know you've had a lot of nice things to say about, you know, Tom, the owner, but, you know, you take just the product and let it speak for itself. Like the Yards Pale Ale, you know, it's one of the most easily crushable fucking beers you got. The Yards Brawler. You know, English mild brown ale.
That's when you want to crush. That's
Dude,
Yards Brawler. It's just like
it doesn't. I think it's underrated. It's still. You know, they used to do the pink, which was really good. And they had a really good foundation that they donated for breast cancer for that. The Ales of the Revolution that they've done. Their Filthy Peach. It's their peach IPA that's going on, and their Summer Crush that they're selling right now.
Summer Crush is a really good one too. Yeah,
dude, it's we're not sponsored by Yards.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't like
we're just
there's no check coming in.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like it's really good fucking beer, and you know it falls in the world of what we do. And you know for my fourth round pick, it's Yards Brewing.
I respect that a lot. So when I think Philly, okay, when I think when people come to Philly and they say you got to stop here, you got to stop there, all that type of stuff. The one thing that it's been ingrained in our blood from a neighborhood perspective, but from a regional perspective, and it's one thing that we could sit there and say is us in all these other states. Wah wah. I'll never forget the old thing, and it's me and my brother joke around about it. Shout out to Chris Wawa. They used to have the advertisement. And it was their song. This is from like 35 years ago.
There's a song.
We do it just a little bit better at Wawa. It was literally an ad.
Never heard that.
It's because I'm older than you.
But also, Wawa's also one of those brands where like you don't have to have seen a commercial to know about it. It's another product that like you know Wawa.
It's up and down. It's up and down the East Coast now. I mean, it goes down to Florida. You know, I think they're opening up in Alabama now.
Really?
From what I heard, they're going after Arkansas, which apparently is like a big market.
Dude, I used to go there when you could like get like deli lunch, just like sliced down for you. Like
or like you
and
used
that
to
was
be
like the nice like and you know instead of going to the corner store like we're getting Wawa.
Yeah, right.
Like honestly, like it was like a thing.
Like back in your neighborhood, okay?
Yeah.
My grandparents grew up, or they lived on Cottage Street, right around the corner from I think it's like Benner and Harbison.
Right,
there was a Wawa there.
The Comlene Cottage.
Something like whatever that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so Saturday afternoons we go to my mom and Pop-Up's house, and Sean, you're going to go to Wawa with Pop-Up, right? Yep. And I go to Wawa with Pop-Up. We'd pick out our Kaiser rolls. We'd get a pound of ham, pound of cheese, that kind of stuff. Get the Golden's mustard. And we go back. We pick the tomatoes right out of my grandmom's garden. She grew tomatoes back there. We'd slice those tomatoes nice and fresh. And it was a Saturday afternoon, was Wawa. And we've seen Wawa grow to what it is now. I mean,
right?
it's huge. Not only is it huge, but it's different. Okay.
It's different. They don't have like the deli to get slice made, you know, to order and stuff now. But I mean, like the selection of product they have, like listen, I know, you know, there was an episode of Friends and stuff, but like Wawa put the turkey gobbler on the map as far as I'm concerned. That's still one of the greatest fucking sandwiches ever.
Capriotti's turkey bobby, but you know, but you're
to
right.
the mainstream, right?
Absolutely,
Maybe,
absolutely.
No disrespect to Capriotti's. Wawa made it mainstream though. You know?
Plus, Fatty Sean would always grab a large pint of just stuffing.
See, I would just do a pint of just their mac and cheese. The mac and cheese.
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, and like see, and that's and funny thing is like they do things that it's not like wow, this is the best. But they do it high quality across the board and consistently. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Consistency.
We say that all the time. I mean, consistency is key.
Yeah. And it's Wawa over Sheets all day too.
There's really no comparison.
No,
like you go to Sheets. You go, an MTO. Well, it's made to order. Well, everything you ever order is made to order
at some point.
If you're ordering something that's not made to order, then
it's not made.
It's like what is it?
But Wawa Sheets is like comparing like a D1 school with a D3.
Yeah, well, Wawa Sheets is like comparing like Penn State to like Lehigh University football team.
Right. Yeah. You know, if you won the D3 championship. You know, you're not better than the school that, you know, made but lost the D1 championship.
Right,
you're still not as good, you know, and Wawa's a D1 product, D1 brand.
Absolutely. You know, and you know, it's taking over. I mean, I think there are like 1,100 locations now. You know, they're expanding and they represent Philadelphia with everything they do, you know, because they tell the story. And mind you, they are Delco, originally from Delco, but we experienced them here in Philadelphia.
Everyone's got to come from somewhere. Wawa gets the adjacency pass on that one.
I'm really scared to find out someday to find out where you came from. But at any rate,
have it, man. I'm like a gift.
You are an angel sent down from heaven.
I am an angel.
Yeah.
You know, to round out our draft, my 5th round pick, you know, I've gone back and forth on a lot of, I over made a list figuring like we would cancel each other out and I would have to like, you know.
We weren't like, there's been nothing we've disagreed on.
No, everyone we've had has been like, you know, absolute.
Yeah.
You know, Rocky, definitely. Yeah. Kelly Green, definitely. Yeah. Wawa, Yards, Johns, like all the things we've talked about were no brainers. You know, so I'm torn right now because I have so many unused picks. Right.
So do we could do a supplemental draft if we have time for it.
Yeah, we can. Mine's going to be, I don't think controversial. It's not going to be quite as, you know, toned down to one thing, but in general, I'm going to go Reading Terminal Market. Oof. You know, like not just one store inside of, but like, you know, you have to go inside the Reading Market to actually experience what we're talking about here. It's like a bazaar of all the food and drink and groceries and shops and coffees and donuts and pastries and cannolis and anything you could possibly want. Like if you like to eat, if you like to partake in eating your feelings, you know, Reading Terminal Market is the place for you.
After this 48-hour fast, I think I might have to eat more than my feelings. But yeah, we've talked about Reading Terminal in the past, and we're in total agreement on it. I mean, Reading Terminal represents Philadelphia in so many ways, and you know, even with where we're at, we proudly shop from different stores down at Reading Terminal. You know. And it's a great experience, and you could have something different every day. And you know, nothing. There's like this old saying, you know, go to where the pros are. Yeah. Who's a pro at like, you know, finding out the good places to eat? Cops. Okay, I'm cops my whole life. I've known cops, families of cops. And when you go in there, and I know cops are actually, you know, pejorative, but police officers, when you go down there, you see them because it's right across from the Criminal Justice Center, and they know the places to go.
Yeah,
they know the places that have the good stuff. You just follow them, and like
the cops know where to get the good stuff. It's just the joke writes itself.
I mean, the real good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And, you know, I'm hoping to get somebody down from Reading Terminal Market in the next couple of weeks as a guest to kind of show off some of the food that goes on down there. So let's put that one in the pocket. Yeah,
that would be awesome. Round us out, man. Bring us home on the draft here.
I mean,
Fifth and final, not Mr. Irrelevant.
So is this going to be an easy pick? It's a layup pick. It's something that I think we're both going to probably be in agreement with. But Jason Kelce, I mean, Jason Kelce represents everything good about sports in Philadelphia.
And again, doesn't matter where we originated from,
No,
where you're at now. Same thing with the Wild.
Absolutely not. He's
here.
Yeah,
Regardless of where he was born, he's us.
I know he lives in Delco. He doesn't live in Philadelphia, but he's us. He's Philadelphia. I mean, he's one of those guys where, you see him and he's not ducking you. He's not, I'm busy or anything like that, or let me spend some time with my family. Or he's out there for people, and he's one of the just genuinely nicest people. But when he did that speech in front of the art museum,
I cried.
I mean,
I cried.
It doesn't get any better than that.
I mean, taxes. I cried.
The fact that he's marching. Okay, everybody else is in the buses and stuff like that. He's marching down the Parkway in his mummer's costume,
singing "We Don't Like Us."
I mean, and embracing it because he knew what it meant. He knew exactly what it meant, and he was an Eagle before he was an Eagle. Okay.
Yeah.
He was an Eagle before he was an Eagle before he even knew he was going to get drafted. He embodies what Philadelphia sports, but also the city is.
Culture
is we're a city of neighborhoods. We're a city of people. We can come together on a lot of great topics. We can see differently on others, and that's fine. But we can come together as a whole and just celebrate what is Philadelphia. And I don't think, there's been a lot of, transitional athletes over the years, Dr. J, Mike Schmidt, AI, Bryce Harper now, Jimmy Rollins. You got Brian Dawkins, you
can't not say him.
You got all these great examples out there, but I don't think any one of them embodies Philadelphia as much as Jason fucking Kelce. Emphasis meant.
We will round this out by saying absolutely no disagreement. We are 5 for 5, 10 for 10 on our picks here. Jason Kelce, true Philadelphian, and I can't think of a better way to round out the draft.
So let's review.
Yeah,
let's review. So you had Eagles.
Absolutely. You want to go one? I mean, so my top 5, I had Eagles, dickhead. And I feel really strong about my top 2 already. John's Water Ice, Yards Beer, and Reading Terminal Market. I think I'm confident in myself right now.
See, yours is like nothing, and this is
can't wait for this.
Yours is kind of the Philly list. Like they're like it really is like Philly in that like your list is kind of like maybe not the bright shining star that everybody was going to pick,
right?
But the dog that everybody wanted to pick.
I'll take that.
Whereas mine is kind of like.
I like yours.
I get it. But
Rocky, dude.
Rocky. Wow. Kelly
not
Green.
How many times you get knocked down? It's how many times you get back up, right?
Yeah, this is true. That's definitely what they said at some point. But I think it's a competition. I think we want to see in the comments.
I'm not afraid of competition.
We want to see in the comments, what people think. I want to see how many people know that I'm right and Lou is wrong. I want to see how many people.
Should we wager on this?
What's the wager?
I'm sure we can think of something right fucking now.
Put it up there. Put it out. What do you want? Let's go. Let's do it.
Winner picks out what the loser wears on the next episode.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
So when I win, I want suggestions.
Have a great outfit for Sean.
I want suggestions on what we want to see Lou wearing.
Vote for Sean if you don't want to see him in something revealing. So take us home, Sean. Now that we're 86 in the draft, we're going to switch things up. You got our 86 list today.
We got our 86, and this is something that I think we need a lot more of in this day and age. And I don't want to get too sappy or I'm definitely not going to get political with it, but 86 fucking labels. 86 labels that people want to put on other people. At my age, I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. One thing I kind of pride myself on is just taking people for who they are, not a label that gets put on them, whether it be a political label, whether it be, a lifestyle label, whether it be, even industry label. I hate, and I don't like using the word hate. I was taught at a very young age that hate shouldn't be in your vocabulary. You shouldn't let that hate in the door. But I can say, because it's an inanimate thing, but I hate when people feel that they need to label somebody else, whether it be, again, somebody's lifestyle, somebody's religion of choice, whether it be somebody's education, their employment, what they do for a living. Accept people for who they are, and who they express to you. Don't just put somebody into a bucket and say this person was at a Donald Trump rally, a Donald Trump protest, and maybe put up a sign, telling people what they disagreed with Donald Trump. Maybe he's a Cowboys fan. Who knows? Dylan, we'll roll that picture right now. But it
was a good sign.
But I get it. But I even when it comes to protesting, I get it when people sit there and want to say I disagree with something that's going on, or I disagree with something that happened. I wholeheartedly agree in that. Okay. What I really don't like is when people sit there and say, I disagree and I'm right and you are wrong. And now you are this and I'm that.
Polarization.
I really hate it, and obviously, in the political world we live in right now with this being an election year, there's a lot of finger pointing of who's this and who's that. I don't even want to get into it. I don't want it to enter into my world.
It's ruined social media, and social media is toxic to begin with, but it's ruined social media.
Certain social media. I mean, I believe the TikToks I've been following these days, I think are very entertaining. And maybe I'll share some of my favorite TikTok groups, but I think that social media.
Curious what your algorithm looks like.
For some weird thing, I get a lot of sorority ones. It's weird, and they do these dances and these songs.
You're not in college.
I don't know. I guess somebody just sent it to me at one point, but search engine history. But I just think that there's this idea that you have to be the tribalism, tribalism that exists. That's like, if you're there, then you're not with me. And we live in a diverse city. One of the things I love about Philadelphia is, whether you're from Northeast Philly, Southwest Philly, North Philly, South Philly, we can all get together on a lot of things, like food.
Yeah.
Like drinks.
Like drinks.
Like sports, which is one of the reasons why, when me and you were hanging out, we keep it on those topics. We don't discuss, politics or anything like that, because, we all know how wrong that can go.
The energy could go south.
Exactly.
Even if the intent
somebody overhears it.
Yeah.
You
don't like the president right now? You must be this, the other thing. I'm like, you don't know what I mean.
Listen, I met the president. Yeah. I met President Biden 2 weeks ago. I shook his hand. I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says or does. And I don't think he, I think he's way past his prime. And even when he was in his prime, he probably had some issues. I remember back in '88 when he got caught, using somebody else's speech. Okay. Literally, but he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. He's affable. I shook his hand, and
character.
He has character. And I'm not saying other guys don't or anything like that, but that doesn't mean, I had a friend of mine, reach out to me and said, "Oh, you're a Biden guy now, huh? You're this, because I got the chance to meet the president of the United States."
3-word response. Fuck you, dickhead.
Fuck you, 86 labels. On that note, fuck you, dickheads.
Fuck you, dickheads. See you next week.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.
YUNKJunk!